Go straight through. Sure. Normally we follow the rules, but John said this was okay, so. So let me just let everybody get inside here first, because this is really, really cool. You know, one of the things that is a really awesome feature of this project is the way that it's designed to actually showcase Billerica. And there's a whole branding element and a huge credit to the Perkins and Will team for branding this. So this main lobby, which is prepping for terrazzo right now, you can see this is the outline of the town of Billerica. That will be right here on the terrazzo floor. That's the new B shield. That's initial has gone, and that's going to be polished up. That's not. See, I'm going to grab one of these. So we have these pucks that will be put in the building. This one says Billerica Memorial High School 1955. These will go in on the map to represent the location of the feeder schools that go into the high school. And they'll be placed, you can see where they're prepped on there right now. So that would be the Ditson, that would be the Kennedy. You've got the cluster there, you've got the Dutah, you've got the Hajar, you've even got like the Talbot and the Pollard, I believe, that are part of that as well too. So it's a way to really showcase the history of what the town is. So it's the outline of the map, and then you've got the features of the Concord River and of the Shawsheen River that are going to be coming through here as well too. So it's a really, really cool, yeah, I'm just crossing the Concord River right now. But it's just a really, really nice design feature that tells you this is not just a generic high school, this is Billerica Memorial High School. So with that being said, let's head over to the academic side. So I'll pause here for a second. Directly below us, this is the student commons, the student cafeteria. As I mentioned before, students will park at the student parking lot along Good Street, which is where it is now. They'll walk in across the courtyard that's created, and then into the commons here in the morning, while students taking the bus will come in through the front entrance. Excuse me, there's a second part to the cafeteria that's actually underneath us for students that want a little more private space, and not necessarily just the big open space that's in this commons, and the kitchen's over there. One of the features that I love about this building is the natural materials that are used in it. You can see the wood along the wall there, as well as the glue lamp beams. We'll see that to an even higher degree when we go up a level over the civic side, because they're structural wooden beams that support the structures here in the building. So, but wide open, bright space. For those, I mean, Victoria and Roshni, you guys live in the existing high school, and part of the cafeteria that we call the pit, because it's a little bit lower on the ground, it's got no windows, it just over time it's become the pit. This is a little bit open, nicer, more conducive space for students, which is really what it's all about. So.
And that's the same floor down there as we're standing on the plaza, it's just protected.
Is this going to be glass?
This is perforated metal panel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right, those panels.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
We'll head down the hall here.
Yeah.
So, just a couple of things. I mentioned the design elements for the branding. You know, part of this is we have these new modernized effects for the logo. So you can see this feather motif that you'll actually see replicated in different parts of the building. And this is actually designed to put little pictures and stories in here to exemplify certain traits of students, both past and present, with each space. But as we come around, I want to show you one of these really cool spaces that we have. And so this is actually what I was talking to you about before, Emma, about interdisciplinary spaces. So there are 6 of these interdisciplinary spaces in the building. 3 of them are 2-story spaces, 3 of them are 1-story spaces. We're in a 1-story space here. We'll see a 2-story space when we go up in a second. And we actually passed when we first came in, but you probably were focused on the cafeteria, so you may not have noticed it as we came into the building. You can see there are these 2 classrooms that both empty out into this big open space. This will be filled with soft seating. And the idea is that we might have students like in our DECA program that are always looking and working to work collaboratively across multiple classrooms, like our American Studies class, American Literature, American History. These doors are phenomenal. I love them. And they actually will toggle back to either an open or a closed position. So they'll just realign themselves. And they're actually going to be coated with a whiteboard material as well too. So they can be used as a space for students to work both inside and outside of the classroom. Again, and Brian over there from Perkins & Will is taking pictures himself too. It's an amazing design feature that we have 6 of these in the building. What we did as a building committee is we went off and we toured as many different high schools as we could to get different ideas. And this idea of having these combined spaces was a really awesome. And so this is one of the teacher prep rooms. It is a bridge. Yeah, I mean, so there's we don't really talk about a lot of what that is because we try to protect what but it's one of the things that we've had in mind. Yeah, we want to make sure there's safety features built in. So this is the teacher's preparation room. There'll be a table in the middle of the room. There'll be chairs that will move back and forth between the sides. So every teacher will have their own work area here. I think it's 13 or 14, I forget what the number is of teachers that will be in the space. But the idea is that they generally won't all be in here at the same time because probably 10 of them will be out teaching. So it'll be a place where teachers can come and work. I noticed, Roshni and Victoria noticed I will say that as we did our tours, I mentioned the school publicly before, but I won't mention it here with everybody recording simultaneously. But one of the school visits we did, we talked to the teachers in their break room and they said they had an interactive whiteboard. And they said, we have never used this the entire time we've been in this building. We would give it up in a heartbeat for a sink. And so our teachers will have the sink that's there in the fridge because ultimately we need to make sure that if we take care of our teachers, they're going to be better prepared to take care of our students. So
We spend just as much time here. They should have.
they do.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Okay, we're going to go up one level.
You can put an actual water bottle on there. Yeah.
Now, is this typical student passage, like from the hallway?
Water fountain.
There's a number of different stairwells, so it depends on where they're going. There are these at the end of each hallway.
Yeah.
There's the main stairs in the cafeteria. There's another set of stairs just off of that. So there's different, and then there's the stairs in the interdisciplinary, which are wider. So
Who's gonna be traveling these stairways? Like, so who's gonna use these stairways? Are the kids at home at all, or?
it kind of depends upon where you are and where you're going.
Yeah.
Right. But there's enough stairs that it's not like everybody's going to be crammed into that stairwell. That is the next stop on the tour. House office. She's downstairs. We'll find her later. So actually, I didn't take this group into the main office. When we first walk into the building, the main office where the principal and some other folks are there. But then our assistant principals are actually dispersed in different places in the building. So there's 4 of these house offices. This will be one of the assistant principals that's dedicated to grades 11 and 12. The other one for 11 and 12 is the next wing over down the floor. And then there's 2 above us, one on C wing, one on E wing, that are designed for 8th and 9th grade, because 8th and 9th grade classrooms are going to be upstairs. So in this office space, secretary, guidance counselor, assistant principal, like social worker or psychologist, depending upon the nature of the room, conference room. And the idea is to have those Okay, we'll head back down the hall. One of the things I'll mention just as we're walking, you'll notice the difference in colors. Downstairs in the main level, that's the Billerica green. And as you go up in the building, you find lighter shades. Just kind of a way of wayfinding within the same color, general color palette. Just like the one we saw downstairs, that was a one-story space. This is a two-story space that, actually, I don't really like that color here right now. But that again, kind of opens it up. One of the things we actually talked about with 8th and 9th grade is we want to make sure that even though we're trying to, create a separate structure for them, it still needs to be one school. So the fact that this is a place where the 8th and 9th floor actually does have a level of actual, at least, there's a sense of one whole school here, right? We don't want to be a completely separate entity within the same building. So, but same doors that you saw downstairs are going to go in here. They're just not installed yet. And again, these wide open bright spaces for folks. Yeah, I mean, when you compare the light, I said this years ago when we were first selling the project, is the model of education used to be keep the environment out so that kids don't get distracted. Now we need to make sure that students are inspired by the environment around them. So we need natural spaces, we need light, we need the environment to come in and actually inspire what it is that we do. Because if we just learn outside of context, it doesn't matter. So.
This is actually what the fire does look like.
Okay. Yeah. I don't want to go too far down. I just want to pop and then pop back out. Because we need to probably have to eat here. No, 8 and 9 are upstairs. So this is that's E-wing there. So I just want to point out two things. One, this is one of our maker spaces. I don't know exactly which one this is, but this is a place where kids will make, right? So I think the robotics space is upstairs and down the end. Or no, it's down, I think it's down that end. But we have a number of these spaces throughout the building for kids to really be hands-on and engaged with learning. The other reason I want to stop here for a second, if you look out the window, it's a little dark, so you can't always see it this time of night. But if you look down there, you can see the auditorium. And the back side of the auditorium, you'll notice the metal panel is two different colors. That brighter white rectangle there, that's designed to be a material to project on. So that we can do, bring in rent a projector, do an outdoor movie night in the courtyard that's going to be created outside here. Because we will have a de facto open courtyard with two sides of the building, the ice rink, which is over there, and then the back of the bleachers for the football field that will go in once the other building is down.
There's going to be a stage on the back of that, too.
Yeah, and on the back of the auditorium, there will be an external stage where we can do outdoor concerts, small little theater stuff. But it's whether that's school or whether that's community, but it's a place in the community where people can gather. So, okay, we're going to head back through over to the civic side. Yeah, I think we'll come down and then I figure in library balcony and come down.
Those are here. It's designed for those are phenomenally expensive for that reason. Those are called rumble meters.
Already, it's just amazing. And then sometimes you walk across the building and ceiling will fall.
Because they are exposed, people get curious.
I had ceiling fall on
So they're heavy duty.
So what I mentioned here, just as a safety feature, because we have a 3-story space, we need to make sure that we comply with all of our fire requirements. So we have these sliding doors as part of fire safety to make sure the building is maintained safely in that manner. You press the door and it opens, fire alarm goes off, the door closes, you're good to go. Just gonna pop out of the bridge for a second.
Under a normal condition, that's all open as well. So as far as fire alarm goes off, all these doors close, partition the area.
Pictures really didn't do justice when they were, Locking us up.
I still don't think, right?
you know?
I still don't think it does.
The training is
Really.
The space where we are here,
Video, you know?
so this will probably just be called the bridge. We refer to it as the media bridge or the media console bridge. It'll probably just be called the bridge. And you can see we're directly above the main cafeteria. This is designed to be a place to have a little extra cafeteria seating. We will have a little cafe inside the library. We started that in our existing high school a few years ago. I'll show you that space in a second. But this will actually stay open here so you can look from the bridge down into the gymnasium and get a sense of what's down there as well too. We'll see the gym up close a little bit later, but just to kind of set the stage for this, 17,000 square foot gym, 3 teaching stations so you can see the nets that will come down from the ceiling there. Scoreboard is being prepped for install right now. The wood floor is already in. And the bleachers will come from this wall that we're at out and from the other wall out with the main competition court. You can see the scoreboard on either sides of the main competition court there. There's also a 2-lane walking track that goes all the way around the perimeter of the gym. But the walking track is separate from the bleacher system. So enter on the second floor for the walking track, enter on the first floor for the bleachers. So. Yeah, it's not quite to the point where you could use it for like indoor track. We didn't have enough space to be able to do that, but we cleaned the Marshall basement for folks. So
Dungeon is very nice.
the dungeon is very nice. Yeah.
Did you run it before you broke your toe or after you broke your toe?
So main court is 6. Yeah, so 6 around the little one, and then really wide.
So this is the library that we're about to walk into. For those that know the library, the existing high school, there is absolutely no external light in our existing library. It is a far contrasting space when you come into here. So this main area is where the stacks will be for books. But a modern library is not just a place for books to be. That'll be the Innovation Cafe is right there. And that little,
Cafe, not
Innovation Cafe in the library here. Little bench seating for kids to grab something in the morning if they want to work there. And I'll just mention there's a little quieter nook in the library over here with the space for our TV production class. Our TV production studio will be right around the corner. So they actually have a studio space as opposed to just a random department in the back of the library. Yeah. Was this over?
I don't have one yet.
Emma's got all mine. So we're going to continue through the library here for a second.
Library.
Those are the actual tables.
thinking about that, coming here, probably hundreds. Oh, yeah.
Didn't expect that.
So hopefully people will follow me for the little detour into this room, because this is going to be a cool space. John, which wall's getting the treatment? Which wall's getting the branding treatment? That one?
What is this?
So this is the, actually let everybody get in. So this is going to be the 1655 room. So modeled off an idea that we had when we visited Wellesley High School in their 1920 room, in which they reused materials from their old. Really cool. Yeah. So 1655 is Rochdale, Victoria.
The year Billerica was founded.
Hey! Fine, thank you. So in this room, there's going to be historical photos, but the actual original town charter is going to be blown up and branded on that wall right there, covering the wall of this room. So this is designed to be either a quiet workspace or a small group meeting space, small to mid-sized group meeting space inside the library. Again, with historical elements that are in here as part of the space. Actually, Brian, because you've been, I don't know if there's any, what am I forgetting that's in here?
I think you hit the highlights.
Okay.
The big thing is the photo.
A few benches from how.
Yeah, a few benches from the old house school are going to be here. Actually, where are the ceiling tiles going? Oh, they're going in the cafe. Okay. Yeah, so I forgot to mention that we were back in the cafe. So we reclaimed some of the old ceiling tiles from the old Howe School and are putting those in the Innovation Cafe up here in the library as well too. So. We'll pop right across in here into the art room. Or actually, this is a digital art room. But I'll come into the art room instead.
So these are all classrooms?
So yeah, so that room is like graphic design.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Stay with that?
Nice.
So art room in here. You'll notice, actually, if you were here during the day, you would notice a lot more light because the skylights would be open and the shades would be open. But art is a place where there should be all kinds of natural light coming in. Again, if we're just comparing and contrasting our art rooms right now, we're in the basement of our existing high school with little tiny windows up at the top of them. This is a real place. I mean, we have amazing artists in the district, so this is a place where we can do that work in here. So.
Are those shades controlled electronically?
I would imagine they are.
Yes.
I haven't tried them, but I figured these guys know. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's actually pop up to the hallway.
No, they're not. They're outdoors. They're outdoors.
You can see like the little white housing up above.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're talking about.
Oh, it's up there too. There are shades up there? And then you.
No, there are no shades.
Oh.
Yeah.
So if we need to move them, we can.
Yes, that's a fire.
Set them up in different orientations.
Without those ripping. Yeah, exactly. And how long ago was back in your day? So, one of the things I just wanted to mention while we're here in the hallway is look up, and those wooden beams that we talked about, you'll actually see them, you saw them there in the cafeteria. They run this whole length of the civic hallway. And again, it's these natural elements that are brought in the building that really give it a distinctive and awesome feeling. So we are in the civic hall. These continue to be art rooms along here. You'll see some display cases as we walk down, and then we're going to head into the theater area. Yeah, I did, same thing happened to me, so.
Yeah, I'll go around.
Okay, thanks.
Like Oz, what's behind the curtain?
From Manchester.
So there's a spot in here where it's like 3 feet from the old building. It's really close to the spot.
Okay, so we have,
Over in that corner.
so the civic entrance to the building is directly below us. So when people come into the main parking lot, they'll come in down here. So the main auditorium will go in there in a second, but this is our black box theater is in here. Black box theater.
There's a mini bar. Thanks. Imagine getting a speech in here.
I think it's reaching the auditorium. Imagine having lectures in the auditorium.
They used to be in the auditorium.
Yeah, I know. But imagine if they still were in that one.
Sort of jump up and down.
Yeah, it's not a big hole. You're good.
Yeah,
In front of all the parents.
because they combined them into one.
No, it's the same as a stage. It's a masonite floor. Right now, the plywood you see, it's just protection on it.
And then is it like stadium seating or like?
No, the seating will be, you know, on the floor and, you know, just in this space. So it'll be just the same level as the whatever production is going on.
Yeah, so this space is going to be designed for smaller music or theatrical productions, large group meeting space. It replaces our existing lecture hall in the existing high school. There's no built-in seating here, it's seating that'll move in or out. And so there's actually chair storage on either side. Okay, so welcome to the auditorium.
Unreal.
This is the most open I've actually seen it for a while in here. So let me just come down here so that hopefully nobody else has to plummet. So the auditorium is designed for 700. We are up in the mezzanine level right now. There are 200 seats up here. There's 500 seats directly below us. I used to think that this was my favorite view was from up here. My new favorite view is actually from down on the stage. So we'll go down there in just a couple of minutes so you actually see what it looks like from on stage. Because as impressive as it is from up here, it's even more impressive from down there. Obviously work is continuing. Actually, wow, I didn't see that. That's cool. Every time I come in here, something new is happening. So seeing the wood block on the sides is good to see. Acoustical panels through here. There's actually a catwalk that comes across here too. You'll see that from down below. And you'll actually see the wood that is actually going in here. You'll get a sense of the wood feel when we get down below us a little bit. So without further ado, let's go do that. You can see one of the booths up there is another booth down below too. So. No, but what you could do, you could actually have graduation in there and then simultaneously in the same if you have a rain event. By the way, you guys can't be too upset with me today, hey, can you? I didn't see your email.
I didn't bother sending one because if we had to, I would have been. Oh, no, I sent it on. I only sent it in dire situation.
So this is the civic entrance right here. Folks will come, so the parking lot is was basically where it is right now, but it's the other side of that building. So you'll enter, staff will park there, or people for events will park there. They'll come in here. We'll pop in the auditorium in a minute, but I want to show a couple of other features also now first. And then you get this sort of grand open space here with some branding that's along there. What I just want to show you real quickly, even though some people are building up. So on this side, alternative physical education space. So whether it's dance or wrestling or yoga, that'll take place in here. The next one over is our fitness center. So weight room, cardio is there, and then the nurse's office.
Oh my goodness. This is crazy.
And so you can get a sense of the gymnasium in here. And we'll cut down on the floor level after we pop down the auditorium. But three basketball courts going across from left, as well, everybody's kind of around a corner, so I can't really say left or right. But from outside to inside, and you can get a sense of the space. 17,000 square feet inside of here. You can see the branding element that's actually going in the walls. That same feather motif that you saw in the hallways is there. The same V shield is going in here in the gymnasium as well too. And there'll be some graphics behind this as well. Just a really, really cool space in here. And to see it this great right now is going to be feet and $7,000. Yeah, so you can see the framing for the scoreboards on either side. Yeah, and it's a score vision scoreboard, which is it's a programmable. It's a. I would just say that John Magliozzi advocated for these.
By the end of this project, someone's gonna like moralize about that stuff. They're gonna be like, "So can you get up there on a lift?"
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean the wood is so
Oh, my
awesome here too.
goodness.
They had to custom cut the pieces of wood to fit the ceilings here.
Wow.
Yeah, the wood looks great in here, Brian. Yeah.
Someone's
Definitely do
asking.
not reorganize these parts on this guy.
Tim, the stands for the gym, those
They'll come in from the two branded walls.
come in from the two,
The
what?
two walls that are branded.
Yes.
They'll come out from those two walls on the side. So I know we can fit the entire school in there, so it might be 1,300 in the bleachers and 300 seats on the floor
Okay,
to fit a 1,600 student population.
okay. Oh my goodness,
Everyone's forgetting
So-
there's an orchestra pit too.
Yeah,
vantage point.
yeah, from down here, this
Great.
is now my favorite spot, yeah. Yeah, just be careful with your steps on the way down. But from a performance standpoint, so I mean, I've got a loud enough voice anyway, but you can hear, without any microphone, without amplification, there's, and without everything up already should be acoustic in this space, right? The wood is just an awesome feature as you look up there on the bottom of the mezzanine. I was saying to the people who were with me when I came in, we were watching them custom cut those pieces and put the wood ceilings in there. And it is a really intimate experience. It seats the same amount as our existing auditorium, but if you think about the existing high school auditorium, the back row of that auditorium is a long way away from the stage. Here, it's closer, it's more intimate. And there certainly isn't a bad seat in the house, right? I mean, it's an amazing space. Where Mark is actually standing right now, he's standing on the orchestra pit. So that's reinforced right now, so they have a lift in here. But there's a pit that is below here, which is the orchestra pit, that then can be used there. So it can be covered, it can be open. And one of the things that it took me a long time before I realized was in this space.
Right.
Maybe that's just my own ignorance. But it's, again, it makes you closer to the action, right? It makes you closer to the audience. So the MSBA,
Granted us the same size stage here that we had, where are we, over there?
over there. There. Sorry, over there. Yes, they did. And then if you look at the fly logs, just in terms of, I mean, this is a amazing design for what we can do this space. I would say I have to give a ton of credit to Chris Dearback. And actually, I never worked with your theater consultant, but Purposeful had a theater consultant. Also, I knew the name. But to put Chris Dearback from our Fine and Performing Arts Department with Perkins and Will's theater consultant, this is what you get. So, and then with Sean's ability to actually put this whole thing together. So, I do have to say, because I haven't said it yet tonight, it's an amazing project team we're working with Sean, with Perkins and Will, with Left Field, certainly with the building committee and everybody else involved with the project.
So will there be a tour for the residents?
Yeah, so we've got to figure out exactly how, because it's weird, unlike the Parker, where it just kind of opened all at once and then we could bring everybody through. The preschool is going to be opening next month, and information will be coming out to those parents middle of next week about the transition. We're meeting with staff tomorrow. Actually, sorry, middle of this week. We're meeting with staff. I forgot that it's Monday. That no school today threw me off. So we're meeting with staff tomorrow, and then we'll get something out to parents shortly after that, around what that transition will look like. The challenge is we really can't bring everybody through the whole building at that point, because there'll still be some ongoing work, right?
I would think when we opened it, that would probably be a better opportunity, right?
Yeah, and the idea would be that in the late summer we'll do that. I've already talked about the possibility. I'd love to have our October town meeting here, at least opening night of town meeting, doing it in this space.
Oh my gosh.
The reps could all be here, and then the people that are coming to watch town meeting can be up in the balconies here, separating reps from visitors to town meeting. And I think and that way, at least town meeting reps, because certainly they had a huge part in making this happen too. We'd make sure that we did tours for town meeting reps prior to coming into town meeting. So I don't know who actually makes that decision, but I'm certainly advocating for it. So
Orchestra pit?
orchestra pit, yes, reinforced right now because of the lifts, but that will be orchestra pit there definitely.
Very nice.
Joe, can we get out that side? Okay. So we're going to pop out that side. We're going to go across the. Actually, no, we'll pop out. I just want to show the lockers just to get it as a contrast. Yeah.
Not on my feet, then not. I see Christina. She wants to see this. McLaughlin.
Bright, open, livable, lovable, a little better than what we have. But for those students that want a slightly more quiet space, there's another part of the cafeteria eating space over here. Like there's some kids that don't want to be in one less stimulus, I think.
Didn't like it when I first saw a picture of it, when I first posted it. What is that? John, what is this?
Cafeteria.
West part, so this is the west part, the west cafeteria.
So this is the more intimate part of the cafeteria. So just before we go through this door, so this is the door that separates high school from preschool and district special education offices. So this door will have a key card access to it. Again, to make sure that only authorized people are going back and forth between the high school part and the preschool part. In terms of entry into the building, once school is open for the day, there are only going to be two ways that people can get into the building, through the front entrance and through this entrance. In either case, people are going to have to go through a double vestibule entry. So they'll be outside the building, they'll get buzzed into the building, just into a contained vestibule, and then they'll be buzzed again from the vestibule into the building. And we have our Raptor system, so we'll be checking IDs or everything else that we need to do as people get into the building. But it's a double vestibule entry for security purpose. So this is a typical preschool classroom. Yeah, well, I mean, they will work. It's 7:14. I was gonna say it's not 10 minutes to 10, or else we could do this way too long. So you can see, same idea. They've got the interactive boards, but they also have tack board around the interactive board because the preschool kids will use the tack surfaces more than they'll actually use the whiteboard itself. Same idea of storage for teachers. You've got the little sinks in the corner. For kids in little sinks. You've got a little nook over here. There's also a little screen over here too if we need the screens for something, which we can either use or not use. And then one of the things that we're actually really excited about, because our existing preschool is in an old high school space, is the fact that we have bathrooms within the preschool. These are the cutest little toilets.
Oh my God.
Say that again. You never hear the superintendent say that
Yeah,
again.
don't sit on that one for the newspaper.
That's what you get.
These are the so cute.
Oh my God.
Physics doesn't work.
$172 million, but we got 2 toilets. No. This is great.
Yeah, so little feature storage in here, and then this is where they store the paste. The other thing I'll mention while we're here, it's unfortunate we just had the snow dumped on us, but the playground is right outside. So you can see brand new playground structure. When we toured the preschool teachers in here a couple of months ago, a few of them actually took that little spinning thing that's right in front of us. Like 4 or 5 of them sat on there and spun around just to test it out themselves. Sorry about that. Sorry you can't do that tonight. And again, even the little details, right? So in project support, we have students, they're here, and it's an integrated preschool, so it's students with and without disabilities. So even the sandbox that's over there, it's an elevated sandbox so that a student who's in a wheelchair can wheel up and play in the sandbox because it's raised at that point. So it's that level of attention to detail that kids needs, which is awesome. I think we've got every good thing ready, haven't we?
Stop at the admin office on the way out?
Yeah, we'll hit the admin office on the way out, that makes sense, yeah, because we did do that on the way in.
We'll leave a note from Murph.
So let me, just before we head back up, and we'll hit the main office on the way out, just questions or anything that anybody wants to ask while we're here.
No.
I think people have been asking along the way too.
Covered it, so.
Yeah, I do this a lot, so I you know, this becomes a little bit of a habit going through the building. But again, these guys are phenomenal to work with, John and Joe and Brian and Dave, Brian and Brian are fantastic to work with. So, okay, so let's head up to the main office area.
Is there a dish room in the cafeteria?
Yeah. Yeah. Want to see it? I've never seen the dish room.
I never see. I've done several kitchens. This is the best one I've ever seen.
We have to see it.
Actually, one of the other things I love hearing from the preschool teachers is that this is the first time they'll ever have staff bathrooms. They don't have it in preschool right now.
So is this for like your learning toys?
Yeah, so we have the big indoor play area in preschool right now. The building, basically, we weren't allowed to replicate that. So we have two smaller spaces. This one, the yellow one, when we first came in, they're designed to at least mimic some of that indoor play area in the existing building. What was it? No, that'll be, what's her name?
Oh,
Renee.
I'm sorry, yeah, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, it was Sheila. Will they have, you know how we have the raptor system at the high school on the lantern?
Yeah, we're gonna have one in both.
One of those,
Yeah.
okay.
Actually, one of the things I didn't mention, just as we went through, all the water fountains have bottle fillers with them as well, too. I don't know if you noticed that as we went around. So, yeah. And then in the bathrooms themselves, they're Dyson hand dryers, so we don't have all the paper waste, paper towels, not with, burn the paper waste, but also this natural trash.
What's this?
Cafeteria.
Yeah, and then share storage back there.
And this is all cafeteria, too.
I know, Mary wants to see the dish room apparently, but.
A what?
For those that want to see the dish room, you can go with Mary and John. For those that want to go up and see the main office, you can come with me. Good night, Mary. Yeah, so we passed one right at the entrance, right in the cafeteria second ago, and then there's one down by the auditorium.
This is all Mr. Murphy's office?
No. No, that was just a stairwell up into.
This is a small man.
Fire doors.